And BoatSmart Canada is a national safe boating organization. We educate boaters, and we also certify them for their pleasure craft operator card, commonly known as a boating license. And all boaters need that BoatSmart card this year to go boating out on the water. And when you're boating, you've got to make sure you have the right safety equipment for your boat. So different sizes and styles of boats require different safety equipment. Some of the common things you need are an approved life jacket or PFD for each person on board. So there's a couple different styles here. That's like a regular PFD. We've also got a youth PFD, and as well the new style inflatable PFDs. So these are really great to wear. They're comfortable, they're lightweight, and nice and cool in the summer. So an approved PFD or life jacket for each person on board. You're also going to need what's called a buoyant heaving line that can be thrown out to a person that's in the water if they're falling from the boat. Most boats you need a bailing bucket and a watertight flashlight. Make sure your batteries are working and it's ready to go in case you need it. And you're also going to need a fire extinguisher for this style of boat, which is a 24-foot Supra, and a sound signaling device like a whistle. And one of the things that you need on a larger boat like this, 24 feet, is flares. So that covers you off for the different safety equipment that you need on the boat, as well as of course, a paddle and an anchor. And you can find more information about what equipment you need on your boat at boatsmartexam.com. When you're choosing a life jacket or a personal flotation device, which is a PFD, you want to make sure that it's approved for use in Canada. So we'll have a label on the inside indicating that it's approved for use on Canadian waters. Again, this is an adult PFD, so when you're sizing this, you want to make sure that it fits snugly, but it allows for the free movement of your arms and legs. Also on the label, there'll be an indication of what weight that life jacket is for, so you want to make sure you choose something that's in your weight category. So this is the label that you need to look for to make sure that it's Canadian Coast Guard approved for use in Canada. And then when you're choosing a youth PFD, just make sure that it's got a collar on it that'll keep a young person's head afloat, and it's got a grab handle so that if a young person is overboard, you can grab that handle and bring them up into the boat. And it's also got a strap that goes between the legs. So again, you want to make sure that's sized properly, that it fits snugly and allows for the free movement of arms and legs. And one of the best things you can do is if you get some new life jackets or PFDs, or even if you've got some old ones at the cottage, at the start of each season you can put those on, wade into chest deep water, and just lean back and make sure the life jacket keeps your chin above the water. There are different rules for young people on the water. If you're 8 to 12 years old, you can only operate a boat that's got up to a 10 horsepower engine, and you must have your pleasure craft operator card. If you're 12 to 15 years of age, you can operate up to a 40 horsepower engine. Again, you must have your pleasure craft operator card. And if you're supervised by an adult, you can actually operate anything other than a Sea-Doo or a wave runner. You have to be 16 years of age to operate like a Sea-Doo or a wave runner. And again, you still need a BoatSmart operator card to do that. So, and just everybody should be aware, regardless of your age, the size of boat you're operating, or the engine horsepower, you've got to get a BoatSmart card and make sure that you're certified to use that power boat on the water. If you find yourself in trouble, again, you want to make sure before you go out in the water that you're prepared and you know what to do in case of emergency. So how to signal for distress, how to use your flares in case you need to use them to signal that you need help. So being prepared before you go out is a very important thing, so you know how to react in case of emergency. If you do get into trouble on the water, you want to make sure that everybody on board is wearing an approved PFD or life jacket. Make sure you have them on. Signal for help. You can also use a cell phone. That's a great thing to carry with you. And one of the best things you can do before you head out on the water is file a trip plan with a responsible person. So on your trip plan, you're going to indicate where you're going, what time you plan to return, any unique characteristics of your boat that would identify it. That way, if you don't come home on time, people know, and they're going to come out looking for you and make sure that they can find you. Especially in a big body of water like Lake Ontario, you definitely want to let somebody know where you're going and when you plan to return. So there's various search and rescue groups, like we're in Toronto here on Lake Ontario, so it's the Toronto Police Marine Unit, the Coast Guard, the OPP. They all have services to help boaters that are in distress out on the water. But again, the best thing you can do is be prepared so that you don't need to rely on those services, because simple things like making sure you have enough gas in your boat before you go out. You should follow the rule of thirds. So 1/3 out, 1/3 back, and 1/3 in reserve for your fuel. Running out of fuel is a pretty common mistake that boaters make, and unfortunately those search and rescue groups are out helping people that are running out of gas when they should really be helping people that have legitimate emergencies. So being prepared and making sure that you have everything ready to go, that it's functioning properly, that you have enough gas in your boat, that can really keep you out of trouble and just make sure you go and have fun on the water. So again, having a cell phone on board is a great idea, so you can call 911. We always recommend that you take your cell phone on board. And then if you have a marine radio on your boat, you can always use that to call for help. If you do have a marine radio, you need to be certified to use that radio with a VHF license, and you can contact Boatsmart Canada for more information on that. So again, you want to make sure that you have all the fuel that you need on the boat, so 1/3 out, 1/3 back, and 1/3 in reserve. You can also carry extra gas with you, or make sure that you check a marine chart or you talk to some local boaters so that you know where you can fill up, where the marinas are on the lake that you're on, so that you can fill up when you need to if you plan to be out for a day or more. Talking to someone that boats locally, or talking to a local marine operator, or even going to discoverboating.ca, where you can find a list of marinas on each lake that you may be boating. That's a great idea, so you can prepare in advance of where you want to go. So a boater really wants to be careful about the weather because it can change suddenly. So you can be out on a nice morning and all of a sudden the winds pick up, and on a big lake like Lake Ontario, it can get pretty rough. So you want to check the weather before you head out. So you can do that by traditional methods. You can check your local news broadcast. You can look on the internet and get a good weather forecast. You can also get the weather on your VHF radio if your boat is equipped with one. While you're out on the water, you can keep that. And you just want to be mindful of the west. Usually bad weather comes from the west, so you want to look for any dark clouds that might be approaching. And if there's a drop in the barometer, so if the sort of air pressure drops, then that's another sign that a storm is coming. Or all of a sudden, if it's very humid and it gets very cold all of a sudden, that's another indication that a big storm might be coming. So you want to head into shore. With Boatsmart, we're talking to boaters, and we just want to give them the top 5 tips to be safe on the water this summer. First one is make sure you get the knowledge that you need and get your Boatsmart card, so you can take your exam and get your card online at boatsmartexam.com. Make sure that you wear an approved life jacket or PFD. That's one of the best things you can do to be safe on the water. 87% of boating fatalities could have been prevented if someone wore a life jacket or PFD, so make sure you wear yours. Don't drink and boat, that's a big one. Keep the water on the water and the beer on the pier. Make sure you have the right safety equipment on your boat. You want to make sure you have everything you need and that it's working properly. And the last tip is just be prepared in case of emergencies. So you know what to do in case you need to signal for help, or if you see another boater that needs some help. So